to my first ever Q&A. I'm really excited to do this because you guys asked such creative and amazing questions. Although I know some of you by name, I'm just going to read off everyone's usernames to make this go by as fast as possible. Sarah Crawford asked a few questions. First, she asked, what kind of novel would you absolutely love to write? I don't know if I'll ever write a novel, but if I did, I think it would be like YA magical realism, or even a children's book would be really fun. She also asks, who are 3 of your favorite singers? Sarah Bareilles, Billy Joel, and Ingrid Michaelson, although I love a lot. Sarah Night Owl had a few questions. Her first question is, any band or musical artist you're currently into at the moment? Currently I'm really into Of Monsters and Men. I am loving their new album. I've also been listening to the Hamilton Broadway cast recording like non-stop. Her next question is, any TV shows you'd recommend on Netflix? My favorite shows that are on Netflix would be Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Once Upon a Time, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, United States of Terra, and The Twilight Zone. Then she asks, among all of your close booktube friends, who do you think would survive the longest in the Hunger Games? I am going to pick Amy and Laura from Two Paper Girls because even though they're like the sweetest people in the world, I can see them being really hardcore and coming up with awesome strategies and just like kicking butt. Sarah Night Owl's last question is, from the 4 factions in the Divergent series, which do you think you would fit in the most, and which one would you want to be in the most? I would definitely be an Amity, I think. Which one would I want to be in the most though? Probably still the same one, because I mean if I tried Dauntless I would either die or have a panic attack within the first 5 seconds of joining. Oh, it's Mandy asks, what is my dream role on Broadway? And April Sarah had a very similar question. She says, what character would you die to land the role for? But I think my dream role would be Logan in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, because I actually played that role in college and it was one of those roles that I just feel like was made for me. Like I could play that for the rest of my life and never get sick of it. The Bookish Babbler asks, what was the first movie musical you ever watched? And she says hers was Brigadoon. That's a great one. The first one I ever watched, I have no idea what the first one I ever watched was, but I grew up watching a lot of them. I grew up watching The Sound of Music. I watched West Side Story all the time. I loved The Music Man. Loved all those old ones. Sarah Ella had a few questions. Her first question is, if you got the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to perform a song with the original cast of Wicked, what song would it be and why? I would want to perform For Good with Kristen Chenoweth because she has changed my life for good. Cheesy! Her next question is, what are some of your most anticipated reads for 2016? And Heartful of Books asked the same question. Okay, it's really funny that Sarah Ella was actually one of the ones to ask this question because my legitimate answer would be Sarah Ella's book that she's coming out with. Sarah Ella, a fellow booktuber, is coming out with a book in October called Unblemished. It's a YA urban fantasy. I have been excited about this ever since Sarah mentioned it on her channel months ago, and I'm so excited we're finally in the year it's coming out. Then she asks, any predictions for how the rest of Once Upon a Time season 5 will play out? I have a few, so we'll talk because I'm not going to spoil anything. Sarah Ella's last question is, what is my favorite ice cream flavor? And Rachel Louise Atkins also asked this question. My favorite ice cream flavor is cookies and cream. Between Chapters asked 2 questions. Her first question is, which Disney princess's closet would you most like to raid? I would want to raid Belle's. Belle has the really pretty green dress she wears in the library. She obviously has that beautiful yellow dress, and then she has my favorite outfit, which is her red cape in the snow. Her second question was, what is your favorite video you've made on YouTube and what is your least favorite video you've made? My favorite videos I've made are definitely my booktubeathon videos. I had so much fun doing them, and my least favorite video is anything toward the beginning of this channel. Hope Ortego asked a few questions. Her first question is, Mary Kiss Cliff, Tamlin from A Court of Thorns and Roses, Jace from the Mortal Instruments, and Maxon from the Selection series. I am not the biggest Tamlin fan, so I'm gonna push him off a cliff. Jace is really cute, so I'm gonna kiss him, and Maxon I would marry because not only do I feel that he's the marriage type, but also who among us would not want Queen Amberly as their mother-in-law? Her next question is, what is your most played song on iTunes? My most played song on iTunes is a song called Snow by Kate Walsh, which is so random. I think the reason though is in college when I would get ready in the morning and like put on makeup, I would always listen to Kate Walsh because she's super calming and it would like chill me out before my day. And her last question is, what is the 6th book on your second shelf and what are your thoughts if you've read it? That book would be Bake Sale by Sarah Van. It's not very deep, it doesn't have much substance to it, but I enjoyed it. It was cute. Frumius Reads asks, if you had to pick one world/universe from any book you've read to live in, what would it be? I would absolutely 100% pick Oz. I would love to live in Oz. I love L. Frank Baum's version of Oz, but I also love Gregory Maguire's version of Oz. Like, even though I don't love the book Wicked, I love what he did to Oz, and I would love to live there. Devin Jean asks, how do you usually pick new books? BookTube, of course! Seriously though, BookTube helps me pick new books so much. I love hearing recommendations. So I am in the middle of editing this video right now, and all of a sudden in the middle of the video, the color changed, like really drastically, and I don't know why. I'm guessing guessing it was a camera setting that I accidentally pressed. This has never happened before. So I'm sorry about the color change. Please ignore it. It goes back to normal at the end again. It's weird. Book Hands asked, who is your favorite non-booktube YouTuber? This is the hardest question for me in the world because I watch so much YouTube. I actually want to make a whole separate video on my favorite YouTubers that aren't booktubers. My newest favorite is Dodie from the channel Dawdle Audle. I love her music. She does music and stuff. She's great. Next, I got a few questions from Heart Full of Books. Their first question is, what TV shows do you want to start watching in 2016? Well, I have a list. I know that the two of you love Steven Universe, and that's definitely one I want to start this year. And their other question is bookshelf tour, bookshelf tour, bookshelf tour. I will be doing a bookshelf tour this year, sooner rather than later, hopefully. Book Paradise had a few questions. The first question is, out of each section of your bookshelf, which is your favorite? Shelf number 1, Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. Shelf number 2, Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm. Shelf number 3, The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. Shelf number 4, A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Shelf number 5, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Shelf number 6, Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller. Shelf number 7, Matilda by Roald Dahl. And shelf number 8, The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. Book Paradise's next question is, what is your favorite holiday? Christmas, definitely Christmas. Next question is, what color do you prefer to wear? My favorite color to wear would probably be like a dusty rose color, so like light pink but a little darker. That doesn't make any sense. And the last question from Book Paradise is, who is your favorite My Little Pony? Twilight Sparkle is my favorite, although I feel like that's an unpopular opinion for some reason, but I like her because she's the most similar to me. She loves to read, she can be a little high-strung at times, but she's a princess now, so that's awesome, and she's purple, and purple's my favorite color. Sarah Johnson asks, if you could see one novel adapted into an animated film, which do you think would make the perfect one? I am going to pick the graphic novel Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol, even though I feel like that's cheating because it already has illustrations, but I think it would be a really cool animated movie. Kelsey the Book Nerd asks, what is your advice for a successful booktube channel and how do you come up with ideas? I would say to post videos consistently, that really helps, and also to just get involved in the community, meet new people, support new people, and be kind to everyone. How do I come up with ideas? I don't even know. I'm pretty bad at that, but I do have a note in my phone for like booktube ideas, and I have my phone with me at all times, so whenever I'm out and about, I can just write it down when I think of things. I'm not sure if this next name is pronounced Dahlia A or Dahlia A, so I'm sorry about that, but they asked, do you make up stories in your head, and if you do, can you share one? I do make up stories in my head, but they're all about characters that already exist. I don't really make up new people in my head, which is basically just writing fanfiction. I don't write fanfiction, but I guess I technically do in my head. Lila Wood asks, where did you get those beautiful Wizard of Oz dolls? I don't know where I got them. My mom got them for me a while ago. I'm sorry. Jerica Pierce asks, if you could be a part of one fairy tale, what would it be? I would want to be a part of the 12 Dancing Princesses because I love that tale, and I think it'd be really fun to be one of the 12 girls and dance, even though they're cursed, but we'll forget about that small detail. Monica Booklover asked, what did you learn from being a part of this community? I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about making videos and YouTube. I've learned a lot about new books to check out, so that's awesome. Karis on Reading asks, if you could turn any book into a musical, which one would it be, and who would you cast to play the main characters in it? You know, this was a really hard question for me to answer. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the selection. As far as main characters, this girl is way too old to play America, but I would cast Sierra Boggess if age wasn't an issue. I think she'd be great. And as far as Maxon, I would probably do like Aaron Tveit or Kyle Dean Massey, like one of those Broadway hunks. JJ Books asks, if you had the night out tonight, which book characters would you want to take with you and what would you do together? I would want to take Levi from Fangirl and I would want him to take me on a date. Strange Shelley and Kat D both asked, what is my favorite fairy tale retelling? I don't have a favorite. That is so difficult, although I really love all of Juliet Marillier's book, but I have so many favorites. I want to make a video on that as well, recommending my favorite retellings. Strange Shelley also asks, what TV shows are you currently loving? Shelley, I am not watching anything currently. I need to get back on my TV game. I am currently watching Once Upon a Time and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but they are both like in mid-season right now. Kat D also asks, what are you looking forward to in the coming year? A lot. I'm looking forward to great new reading. I am looking forward to hopefully moving because I'm in that weird place in my life where I should probably do that. Little Prairie Library asks, what is a book you love but no one else seems to have read? I want more people to read The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I talk about it all the time, but go read it if you haven't. Little Prairie Library also asks, you've mentioned that you're legally blind and I'm wondering how your vision is affected since you read all of those great books, and what's Christy reading also asked about my vision. Yeah, so I mentioned in my reading journey video that I am legally blind. I was born that way. My vision is 2200 as opposed to 20/20, and it can't be corrected by glasses, contacts, surgery, laundry, all that fun stuff. And I mentioned before that the way I read is holding the book literally right up to my nose, and I have like thick magnifying glasses, and that seems to work for me. Although if the book is really thick and heavy, I can only read for like 20 or 30 minutes at a time because I'm a weakling and my arms get tired from holding the book up to my face. As far as how my everyday life is affected, I live a very normal life. I went to normal school and normal college, although I had a lot of like accommodations in the classroom because I can't read the board, so I had note takers and that kind of thing. The biggest way my life is affected is I'm unable to drive, but besides the driving thing, it's really just like a bunch of little everyday things. So like if I go to a restaurant and the menu's on the wall, the person with me has to like read me the items on the menu. Or if I'm walking down the street and someone's coming toward me and they smile at me or wave at me, I can't catch visual cues like that. But I have peripheral vision. I can see all around me. I don't have like a limited field of vision. I have bad depth perception. If I'm standing at the top of a step, I can't tell how tall the step is, really. I'm also very sensitive to the sun. Like, I know everyone kind of is, but I'm like way more sensitive, so I have to wear sunglasses outside at all times, even if it's raining. But I was born this way and I've adapted, so I kind of just live my life like using weird context clues and like putting things together, meaning like if I see the Starbucks sign, I can't read that it says Starbucks, but I know that it is a green and white circular sign, so like I just kind of like put clues like that together. Like, I don't know, I've learned to like do weird things like that. And I have a lot of friends around the world with my condition, and some of them use like guide dogs and canes, and a lot of them don't, and it really just depends. We're all in this weird gray area in between being sighted and not being sighted, and it's a weird place to be. Like, I don't know, it's weird, but it's fine. I love my life. So that was it, guys. That was my Q&A. I had a really fun time doing it. Thank you all so much for sending in such awesome and creative questions. I will see you later. Bye.